Good morning. For all who are here with us at our headquarters, as well as you who are able to join us online, welcome to the Miroku Association Monthly Appreciation Service. We have gathered today to express our gratitude to God and Meishu Sama for the protection, help, and countless blessings we have received this past month, and to ask permission to serve the divine plan throughout this coming month. We will begin our service today with the presentation of offerings to God. Please remain seated and pray along silently for the opening prayer.
Great God of light, with our deepest respect, we have gathered here at the Miroku Association headquarters to celebrate our monthly appreciation service. We humbly offer you our prayers of praise, appreciation for protection, help, and the countless blessings we have received in this past month, and to ask for permission, guidance, and inspiration to serve in your divine work of the construction of paradise on earth. Please accept the materialization of our gratitude through our in-person and virtual presence, our monetary offerings, and by guiding our relatives and friends. Please give us the strength and wisdom to practice these year's guidelines in our everyday life. Based on the sacred teachings and pragmatism of Meishu Sama, let us engage in our practices of faith by intensifying our dedication to Jorei, through donations of gratitude, by our guiding and training individuals capable of overcoming purifications, and by living in accordance with the daylight age. May we receive greater light and spiritual strength to realize Meishu Sama's ideals in our hearts, our homes, and our communities, so we become effective instruments of your divine light to bring happiness to everyone around us. May the new age in happiness and everlasting peace, where love, goodwill, and understanding prevail, soon become our reality.
Please stand and join us for the Amatsu Norito, the prayer of heaven, followed by the Miroku prayer.
Ka amahara ni kamuzumarimasu.
Kamurogi kamurogi no mikoto mochite Sumemi oya namuri sanagi no mikoto Tsukushi no himuka no tachihana no Odo no ahagi harani Misogi harai tamo Toki ni narimaseru Harai dono hanitachi Moro moro no magagoto tsumi kegareo Harai tamae hirome tamae Tomao sukoto no yoshiro Amatsu kami kunisu kami aoyorosu no kami tachi tomoni Ame no fuchi omano mimi furi tatete Kikoshi meseto kashikomi mo maosu
Miroku o mikami
Mamori tamae saki hae tamae Miroku o mikami Mamori tamae saki hae tamae
Oshie miyoya nushi no kami
Mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami Mamori tamae saki hae tamae
Kamagara
Tamachi hae mase Kamagara tamachi hae mase
Great God of light, creator and giver of all life.
In accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving your light. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Nature Sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives.
Great God of light,
bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great light.
Please be seated. We will now receive group juray. The array is now concluded. Let us listen to a teaching of Meishu Sama.
Courtesy. Inner awareness allows us to act freely, naturally, and with ease, yet still live in accordance with God's law. Let us never stray from the right path. May we follow the law of nature and diligently perform our tasks. If common courtesy is lacking, free thought and action become a fallacy, a pretense. They are not a measure of our true freedom. Shoujo faith tends to be lacking in freedom, and Daijo faith has unlimited freedom. However, freedom unrestricted by one's wisdom and reason may lead to selfish indulgence, or willful and capricious freedom. Thus, we should seek to balance these two principles of freedom. True freedom has to respect the freedom of others, and therefore is not without limits. Freedom, in the true sense of the word, has its boundaries. If you even slightly inconvenience or harm another, you feel uneasy, guilty, and cannot be free and at ease. If you give happiness and joy to others, then you feel happiness and joy. This is true freedom. A person's destiny is given by God at birth. It is predetermined, so it cannot be changed. Fate, however, can be freely changed by an individual within the limits of his or her given destiny. Depending on a person's efforts, it is possible to reach the highest level within that range or to drop to its lowest level. Freedom is similar to fate in that true freedom is contained within certain boundaries. There is no such thing as limitless freedom. True freedom has limitations. That is, it is finite.
Let's have greetings from the President of Miroku Association, Reverend Marco Negrão.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First, express my heartfelt gratitude for your support that you continuously exercise, for your dedicated participation in our daily and monthly services, be it in person or online, as well as your consistent engagement in our practice of faith, centered on the practice of Jodei and the study of Vaishnava's teachings. Just had our 4th of July holiday, where the principles of liberty and freedom are constantly touched upon. Because this concept needs clarification, I have chosen today's teaching, in which Meishu Sama clarifies to us. True freedom has to respect the freedom of others. Therefore, it's not without limits. Freedom in the true sense of the word has its boundaries. If you even slightly inconvenience or harm another, if you are uneasy, guilty, you cannot be free and at ease. If you give happiness and joy to others, then you feel happiness and joy. This is true freedom. In this regard, Nelson Mandela shared his thought. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Today marks the day Reverend Kyoko Higuchi passed away. She made her transition in 1989. Before sharing more about that, I want to mention that we received wonderful gifts from San Jose members, San Jose, California. He made some calligraphies and paintings that I would like for Reverend Terry after the service to explain the meaning of them to us. So we want to really thank San Jose members for this wonderful gift. So Reverend Terry, could you please make the announcement that when you are going to explain about that and also about the graphic, please. Yes.
Good evening, fellow members, and we have guests. Okay. Yes, I just see a little bit here and there, and there's some in the back. We have gifts from San Jose Joy Center, where I used to belong when I was 26, and then I was still as a student at San Jose State University, where I studied linguistics. And then when I decided to leave, Reverend Marco came in to assign as the head minister of San Francisco Joy Center. So then there were some activities left in San Jose that I was taken over by Reverend Marco. And then there was a person, Howard Doyle, who is in charge of the San Jose Joy Center. They call it South Bay Joy Center because it's San Francisco Bay Area. It's a center of Silicon Valley, and all those computer science is developed. And so the South Bay is compared to San Francisco, located in South Bay. So that's why they call it South Bay Joy Center. And so Howard and I have a long time relationship since then, and we developed our joy activities together. So then we trusted each other. So then, so that's why that was the last year, I still stopped by in San Jose to say just hi to my old friends. And then I explained, we've been doing that Midsummer's calligraphy exhibition along with the Chinese flower arrangement. It's been so successful. But then he mentioned, oh, Terry, you know what? We have lots of old calligraphies stuck in storage, and nobody has seen it. You want to take it? Of course, why not? Then they are old members, and then they used to have a house, but they had to move in a small rental place. So they have a lot of stuff, but they can't display everything. So then we agreed each other, and of course, Howard is just one member, a long time lay leader, but they have board meetings, so they have to bring that up and to discuss. Then all the San Jose Center board members agreed to donate to the Miroku Association headquarters here. So we are so pleased to hear that. And then, so the commemorating friendship, and maybe that's going to be the bridge between Miroku Association and Joy Fellowship. And those Mason's calligraphy and Kanmon paintings are donated to this headquarters. So that's the background story. So at 12:15, after memory and maybe you need to go to the bathroom, so we're going to have some kind of explanation, brief explanation. So after maybe rough form of Sami's fundraising, and so please look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Terry. So back to Reverend Higuchi. She was the first minister Meishu Sama sent outside Japan to spread Jorei in his teachings. She wrote the following on how she met Meishu Sama. I was born on the 14th of February 1905 into a large family in Kanazawa, Japan. No one in my family was healthy. Someone was always sick. I was almost blind in my right eye. So before I began primary school, my mother took me to an eye doctor. The doctor said the cause was hereditary, nothing could help. Besides the medicine the doctor prescribed, I also took others. Nonetheless, I was always had a slight ache in the temple area, which would develop into a very once in a while into excruciating headache. The greatest desire was to become a teacher. Although my mother wanted me to have some kind of spiritual education, there was no Buddhist school in our area, so I was sent to a Christian mission school. Because I studied so hard, my eyes gradually grew weaker. My mother had not told me that she feared I would go blind, but because of her fear, she decided I should not go to school anymore. At that, I cried so hard, she became even more worried about me and decided to let me remain in school. I was one of the best students and graduated at top level. I then entered Tokyo Women's Christian College where I took English. I loved the college because of the atmosphere. The atmosphere was free, the campus was beautiful, and many good Japanese and American teachers were there. They were wonderful people. Both the college and the education I received had a great influence on me. After graduating from Tokyo Women's Christian College in 1926, I taught English at Hokkaido Choritsu Women's High School in Sapporo until 1932. I love the Hokkaido. Sapporo is a city in Hokkaido and it's filled with snow, but it became too cold for me in the winter. I often suffered from colds and was miserable. So I moved to a mission school, Kyoritsu Women's High School in Yokohama, where I taught English from 1932 to 1940. One reason I wanted to teach was that I thought I could help young people develop a good spiritual foundation so they would become effective and upstanding citizens. The Tokyo Women's Christian College invited me to teach there part-time. So I moved to Tokyo and taught there from 1941 to 1944. While at the college, I audit classes at the Tokyo University of Literature and Science. I loved the atmosphere, yet gradually began to feel the limitations. I felt I was ineffective in improving the students and was becoming weaker physically and often experienced sickness. It was then in 1944 that I learned about Meishu Sama. The mother of one of my private students told me about Jorei, which she said would help me and my mother, who was suffering from rheumatism. Since I was deeply concerned about my mother and the doctors had not been able to help us, I thought I might try this spiritual healing. At the time I had developed a sty in my left eyelid, which became so swollen and painful, I could hardly keep my eye open. This concerned me because my right eye was the weaker one of the two, and I could not see well with a bandage over my left eye. My friend said I should see a doctor, but that he could cut this tie, and I would have to keep a bandage over my eye for an additional week. Hearing that, I became quite concerned because it was nearing the time for examinations, and in that condition, I would not be able to teach effectively. I went to see the student's mother to find out where the Jorei Center was. She said that unfortunately, the center was closed that day because the ministers had all gone to attend a talk with Meishu Sama. She said I would have to wait until the next day to go to the center. But she could give me jore that day if I like it. She had become a member the week before and did not have much confidence. But still she hoped it would help me. She then channeled to me. I received jore quite skeptically, thinking to myself, how can such a novice do? And what a strange way of healing. Yet after the jore, I felt better, although at the time I thought it was just my imagination. I went home and put a bandage over my eye. The next morning, the bandage was filled with pus, and the swelling had almost disappeared. It seemed the strange way of healing had worked. But I still wondered if the improvement was the result of jore. I called my minister, and thus my contact with Meishu Sama began. In those days, because of government regulations, jore was given as a therapeutic treatment, and no deep spiritual meaning of what jore actually is and thus was explained. Meishu Sama first founded the Dai Nippon Kanonkai as a religion, but after only 1 year, he was forced to establish it as a healing organization. The authorities told him that if he wanted to operate his group as a church, he could preach and pray, but could not conduct healing activity. However, if he wished to do healing work, he would have to secure a license as a therapeutic practitioner. This is what Meishu Sama did. In coming to Meishu Sama's organization in March of 1944, the most difficult part for me was accepting the Ohikari, the sacred focal point. Contrary to my expectations, my minister said that herein is the secret. It is just by wearing the Ohikari on their chests that members are enabled to channel God's light. Remember, these were the days when spiritual meanings could not be given. I was quite disappointed and did not think this explanation logical. Even though they were saying the group was not a religion, I thought it must be something like a cult. But the minister was so serious, I could not say a word. After a silent prayer, he presented the Ohikari to me and told me to hang it around my neck. He did it in such a devout manner that I was awestruck. He told me to handle the Ohikari with reverence, always, for it was part of God's own spirit. Half dazed and half skeptical, I returned home and immediately started giving jore to my mother. Soon purification began. Instead of feeling better, she became worse. But my mother was somehow amazingly firm in her faith, and after 4 days of jore, felt a great deal better. In a month, she could walk quickly and carry heavy things in her hands, both of which she had been unable to do for years. She had been bothered with drainage from her eyes and a weak stomach too, and these troubles disappeared as well, even though I did not think of them while chanting. At 70 years of age, my mother began looking younger and more beautiful. You can imagine how happy I was. I still was not sure whether Meishu Sama was all that great, but my friends said he was like a god. I thought, I would like to meet a god. There were about 50 people at the first meeting I attended. When Meishu Sama entered, everyone bowed. But when we raised our heads, he was already at the front, sipping a cup of tea. Instead of a stern-looking, godly individual clad in grand clothes, there, sitting in front of us, was a friendly, kindly man with a grandfatherly look and no affection whatsoever. He was so naturally relaxed. The atmosphere itself was very relaxed. That was a big surprise to me. People began asking him questions about all kinds of things, such as current events and philosophy, as well as small familiar things we see in our daily lives. He answered each question so quickly and precisely. It was indeed amazing. I was so interested in listening intently to every word, but after half an hour, I got very sleepy, like some people. At the time, I did not think I was dozing off, but later, I could not remember what he had said from that point on. That night, my head felt strange, and I could not sleep because I kept thinking of Meishu-sama. I suddenly remembered my teacher saying, people receive Jorei just by being near Meishu-sama because of the radiation of his aura. Even so, I could not wholeheartedly believe in the Ohikari, although I thought it must be great to help others. One day my mother felt bad and asked me for Jorei. As I channeled to her, she was in a lot of pain, and even after an hour, did not feel any better. Suddenly, I realized I was not wearing my Ohikari, and put it on while my mother was not looking. At once, she said she was beginning to feel tremendous warmth. In 5 or 10 minutes, she was much better. This experience set me to think deeply, but I remained skeptical about certain things Meishu-sama taught, especially about the Ohikari and whether it is really that important. I began to think about how he had helped so many people, hundreds, even thousands by that time, and had changed their lives for the better. I asked myself what I had done by comparison. I thought, here I am, weak and helpless, far from helping others. But my minister said I should be patient and wait, for many of the questions I had would be cleared up, as I had more experiences with Jorei and grew spiritually by giving myself in service. So, with the attitude that it was an experiment, I started helping people. But I began seeing wonderful results and became more and more interested in channeling. A boy of 10 living in the neighborhood developed a high fever, which kept going up even though he was under a doctor's care. I gave the boy Jorei twice, and the next day his temperature was normal. A 5-year-old girl had a skin condition on her face, which had to start from a scratch on her cheek. Even though the girl was receiving medical treatment, the condition spread until her face was covered with boils. After one Jorei session, she began to eliminate the pus and then developed severe diarrhea. After this, her face became completely clear. These are the only two of the cases involving the marvelous effects of Jorei, which thrilled me. The cases that fascinated me most, however, were not the ones that concerned the recipient's physical body, but rather the ones that involved a person's character or disposition. For example, a friend told me about her brother, a boy of 15, who had his entire family worried. The boy often was absent from school and spent time at bad places with delinquent comrades. He even stole money from his sister's purse. One day I visited the boy's home and somehow succeeded in approaching him. I told him about my experiences of giving Jorei to sick people, but what I said did not seem to interest him. He said he was already strong and healthy. He was always strong and healthy. Then I told him Jorei could help students learn more easily. He gave him some examples. This did interest him, and he let me channel to him, but afterward he just laughed and said he had not felt anything. However, the next day, when I went to see him again, he told me that a lot of mucus had come out of his nose, and that was strange because he never had colds or any reason to blow his nose. I was very happy to hear that and congratulated him, telling him the discharge was the elimination of some sort of impure substance accumulated in his head. For days I continued giving him Jolay, and his demeanor gradually changed for the better, and he became more cheerful. In 2 or 3 weeks, he was a different person. Since then, I have seen many people whose negative sides have disappeared and whose positive qualities have come to the fore through Jolay. All these experiences assured me of the effectiveness of Jolay, which thrilled me. However, despite them, I was still confused about the meaning of the Ohikari. I asked myself again and again, how a piece of paper with the ideogram for light written by Meishu Sama could be that powerful. Several months after my experience with the delinquent boy, I attended a monthly meeting with Meishu Sama, at which he touched upon the subject of the power of vibration. He explained that a great artist has a very powerful thought vibration, and this thought vibration is impressed on the piece he or she is creating, whether it is a painting, a sculpture, a calligraphy, or even a sword. Then Meishu Sama said in a quite modest manner, this explains the power of the Ohikari. When I write the Ohikari, my whole being is taken over by God and is permeated with divine light. God is working through my body. So I'm one with God. God's wish is to purify the earth and to create a world of true happiness. The vibration of the divine will is transmitted through my hand and impressed on the ideogram for light, which I write for the Ohikari. For the first time, all my skepticism disappeared because the point I had not been able to understand about the Ohikari became clear to me. I now understood what Meishu Sama meant when he said, my teaching is spiritual science, which explains the meeting point of science and religion. I fully realized then Meishu Sama is a messenger from God for this age. I was so grateful, I almost cried within myself. I pray deeply in my heart. Thank you, God, for sending Meishu Sama to this earth. Thank you for making Jolay available to us. Use me as a pure and effective channel of your light for humanity, and let me help to purify the world and raise its vibration. Around 1950, there was a reverend called Bunji Tatematsu. He visited America. When he returned to Japan, he told Meishu Sama, Americans were experiencing an increase in many problems, including the occurrence of chronic conditions, such as cancer, heart trouble, infantile paralysis, and mental diseases. Meishu Sama said that when America is fully awakened to the truth, it will be easy for the rest of the world to awaken also. For America has the power to influence all other countries. About this time, Meishu Sama said to me, in God's plan, you are destined to go to America to spread the divine light. Although I was not to realize the truth of this statement until later. By then, I had had many experiences helping thousands of people through Jolay. I had guided many to our Jolay movement and had established large Jolay centers. Also around 1950, a lady from Hawaii was traveling to a number of her friends in the Honolulu area and was experiencing wonderful results. She wrote a letter to Meishu Sama asking for answers to some questions she had. Ms. Sama asked me to answer the letter, and I began some correspondence with this lady. Since she was helping about 30 people who wanted to join the church, she sent a request for me to come to Hawaii to give an introductory course. A little later, a lady in Los Angeles learned about Jolie from our Jolie newsletter, and she and I began corresponding also. After a while, she requested I come to Los Angeles. Mr. Sama said to me, God prepares the way when the right time comes for the light to spread. When you have succeeded establishing an organization in Hawaii, go to Los Angeles. It is God's wish to spread the light also in the mainland of the United States. Thinking this was too great a responsibility for me, I was a little afraid. Mr. Sama said, as if he had read my mind, don't worry. God has a plan and will open the way for you. He added, choose someone as your assistant to take with you, for you will become quite busy. In those days, it was not easy for someone in religious work to get a visa to enter the United States. After going through much red tape, Reverend Henry Ajiki and I finally acquired visas for a temporary stay, and on February 11, 1953, landed in Oahu. July, we acquired a permit to start a church organization in Hawaii, and in August, I came to Los Angeles to begin Jory activities. During the period of August 1953 and December 55, when I permanently moved to Los Angeles, I made 3 trips and gave our introductory course in the city and vicinity for over 100 people, including about 40 non-Japanese. The Los Angeles Church was chartered and finally incorporated in October 1954. So Reverend Higuchi presented Ohikari to 6,000 people in just her first years of expansion in the United States. With only the help of Reverend Ajiki, her assistant, we can see that if she would be so strict in ensuring people would have thorough understanding of what Mesama's teachings were all about, prior to them receiving the Ohikari, she would not be able to guide so many channels of the divine light of Jolie in such a short period of time. Now that we are strongly connected and receiving guidance from our church in Brazil through Reverend Marco Rezende, we feel blessed to be able to guide many new members this year. This year, until June, we have represent 164 between Ohikari Sacred Focal Point to adults and also to the Shoko to children. So this is so true of our now recent expansion that I had to visit Brazil last month to receive 200 Ohikari to be presented here in the United States and Canada. That was the main reason why I went to Brazil. Our goal is to report to Meishu Sama in December that we were able to inspire 200 family and friends to join us in our efforts to make the world a better place through the channeling of the sacred Jolie. I count on your efforts and your support to help us achieve this goal. This time of 4th of July is particularly special for me. I would like to share this story, which I have written in my memoirs. It's called Knock Knock, Who is There? This is what happened. On July 2nd, I was doing expansion work in Denver, Colorado. The members there, they were a couple, they had a house, and they said, look, you don't have to rent a hotel for your 3 days stay. You can stay in our home. During this period, we just ask you a favor. We have 2 dogs, just give water and food for the dogs while you stay with us, so you can stay and go to the center. So, oh, great, that's fantastic. So in the first night I was in, it was July 2nd, and around 2 o'clock in the morning, the doorbell rang. I said, maybe I'm not familiar with this home, right? Maybe they didn't give me instructions about the alarm or something, right? But I opened the door, nobody was there. Strange. Then I went back to sleep. 45 minutes later, ding dong. Opened the door, nothing. I thought, maybe there are teenagers, doing some prank or there's something strange. Still nothing. Another 45 minutes again. And this third time was interesting because as I opened the door and still confirmed nobody was there, the sprinkler in the lawn, the garden, launched a jolt of water towards my face, almost like saying, wake up, right? To make this long story short, since I couldn't sleep, I decided to go to the center earlier. So I went to the center, and right there, in those days, this was 1998, we still use those answer machines with a cassette tape and whatnot. Those of you younger kids don't have a clue of what I'm talking about, right? So when I checked and said, there are messages here. The red light is blinking. There was please call your family immediately. I called my family. My father had passed away. So, 2 a.m. in Denver, Colorado, was 6 o'clock São Paulo time. It was the time when so either his spirit or my garden spirit, right, garden man, tried to wake me up because what was the problem? I had not told my wife the number where I was staying. I myself didn't know the number to them, so it was my fault in that regard because where's Marco? Where's Marco? People were trying to reach me and they couldn't. So, but in the spiritual realm, okay, if they cannot tell him physically, we will tell him spiritually. So I was then had to book the first flight I could get, not to Brazil. I had to go back to San Francisco where I was living. I had to go back to the West Coast to get a passport. Because, I was traveling domestically. I wouldn't think about taking my passport. So, was able to get the last seat in the airplane, went to San Francisco, met Miro at the airport with my passport, then took a flight to Brazil, also was the last passenger again, and was able to arrive in time for the burial ceremony. So all my relatives, they were amazed. Oh, this is a miracle. How could you come? Because in Brazil, if you don't know, there are, I believe, less than 40 hours once the person is confirmed that the burial has to take place. Just like here, sometimes you can calmly plan a funeral with a view and whatnot. Over there, it has to be very quick. So the fact that I was able to attend the funeral, the last hour of the funeral, was a great miracle. But why I'm also sharing this, not just because this is so my father, day of passing is July 3rd, is because I believe the work we do, channeling Jolie, helping others, also allow us to have these kind of messages. I felt very blessed to have that kind, although it was kind of unique, right? Mysterious the way I was became aware. But so that's the encouragement. So for us to keep engaging in our practice of faith, right? And to help others, especially through the channeling of Jolie and the study of Beshisama's teachings. So to thank you very much for this opportunity. Have a successful month of practice and a safe return to your homes. Thank you very much.
This concludes our service today. Thank you very much for joining us. We wish you a blessed day.